Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, and this is a new anime coming to you from director Kenji Kamiyama, who has done a lot of work within the Ghost in the Shell franchise and some other big properties, like worked on Blade Runner, Black Lotus, stuff like that, and here takes the reins of this story in the world of Middle-earth, where we see Helm Hammerhand and his daughter Hera, who are leading the country of Rohan and must retreat to the Hornburg, which will be known as Helm's Deep, when a vengeful young man, Wulf, trying to get vengeance for the death of his father and trying to take over the kingdom of Rohan. And this obviously becomes a giant conflict in the film, and this really does focus on Hera, voiced by Gaia Wise, as she comes out of the shadow of her very famous, powerful, and brave father Helm, voiced by Brian Cox. And this film, first off, looks gorgeous. It's in this anime approach to filmmaking. Kamiyama takes the visuals this very seriously. There's some really gorgeous shots of just Middle Earth, and when you see like the sky and the mountains and the plains, and those elements really stick out. I think the character design is really effective. It really fits that vibe. It also has scale and has a big feel to it, like epic, like Lord of the Rings, even though the conflict that's really happening here is much more intimate and personal. Like, this is a personal vendetta. This is not like Sauron trying to take over all of Middle-earth like in Lord of the Rings. And you have the visuals that are really effective. Pacing-wise, this is a 2-hour and 15-minute film and could have been leaner, for sure. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges of this film, is that it does feel long after a while. And the story probably could have been tightened up. But it does do some really great world building. You see, like, Mumakil and the Watchers of the Lake and those fantastical elements. The Eagles wind up being a pretty sizable piece to this puzzle, Deus Ex Eagles. And those elements come together. The music, it does a really great way of, like, homaging what Howard Shore was doing, but does feel a little bit fresh and a little bit of its own. But the musical elements really bring emotion and heft to these scenes, and Stephen Gallagher did a really fine job with the score. Story-wise and writing-wise, there's too many cooks in the kitchen with this, and you can tell. I really like Helm. I think he's a big, strong, aging leader, and boy does he go hard in one particular scene in this film. And it's just like, that is a character moment. That is a badass moment. I feel like Hera is too much of like she's all together. She's already extremely skilled in everything. She doesn't really go on an arc of growth. It's more of a getting the chance to show who she is. And I really hated Wulf, the character. He was so annoying, so obnoxious, so whiny, and also, he is so untrustworthy. Yet, all the characters in this film were like, oh, let me get up close to him. He's not gonna hurt me. It's just like, he sure the heck is. And of course, time and time again, that cliche was getting really annoying in this film. They bring Miranda Otto back as Eowyn, and she does like the narration similar to Cate Blanchett did in the first, like in the Lord of the Rings films, and I think that's a nice touch to make this feel like this is some kind of legend being told. I just feel like this film has too much lampshading as a prequel. There's too many moments where it's like, you know where this is from. And there's a lot of very derivative elements from Lord of the Rings, specifically the Two Towers, that they recycle into this story-wise or action-wise. I do think the action is really impressive and exciting and exhilarating. Basically, Kamiyama excels here. Some of the voice performances really excel here. The visuals, it's great. The action is great. It's just a script that feels so simplified, flat with some of its characters, and just too overly familiar with previous work that it just doesn't pack that punch that you want it to have in the end. But it's still a fine film and an enjoyable adventure. It just might feel a little long as you journey through it. But those are my thoughts on Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. Let me know what you think and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.